Hey guys, welcome back to ClimaxCombo. I'm Checkers, and I'm going to be profiling my SAO 10th anniversary deck. This deck is yellow-blue, and it is after the updates to the Japanese ban list earlier this year in 2022. I'll kind of get into more detail about the ban list and my choices when coming to those cards. But if you're curious, I run the unrestricted Asuna, and for my choice of two, I picked the Heathcliff. But yeah, like all the other deck profiles, I'm gonna go through all the cards, talk a bit about them, their strengths and weaknesses. A little bit. I'll talk a little bit about how I play the deck generally and some alternatives you can try in your builds. But yeah, let us get into it. So starting for level 0. 4 of these level 0 Asuna, 1500 power. If she has a marker underneath her, she gets plus 2k power. And when she's played, you can reveal the top card of your library. If it's an anniversary character, put it underneath her face down as a marker. So when she has that marker, she's 3500 base, which is phenomenal. And she, at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, she can move to the center slot of your front stage that is empty. So center run, 3500 power, great level 0. Oversized, sticks around. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Next up, 3 of these Asuna, 3k power. She cannot side attack, and her other effect is clean cut. When she reverses a character by battle, you can move one of your other characters to the back row and rest it. Clean cut is a very nice effect and very strong. Another very strong level 0. 2 of these level 0 Asuna, 2k power. If you have 2 or more other anniversary characters, she gets plus 1k, making her 3k base pretty easily. And her other effect is pay 1, discard a card to search for an anniversary. Great utility card. 3k base is great on this type of card. You can already kind of tell that the level 0 lineup is strong for SAO 10th anniversary. 2 of these, Kirito, 1500 power. The turn he's played, he gets 1500 power, so another 3k attacker for 1 turn. And when he gets sent from stage to waiting room, you can discard a card from your hand to look up to the top 4 cards of your library and add an anniversary character to your hand. So these are a lot of strong level 0s because it's very important to the deck to have this. So right off the bat, we have a lot of strong level 0s that also provide some utility. These next cards are just here for utility, but it definitely rounds out the lineup a lot. 3 of these Yuki, 1500 power. At the beginning of your climax phase, you can give one of your anniversary characters plus 500 power for the turn, and the other effect is Brainstorm. You can pay 1, rest her, look at the top or reveal the top 4 cards of your library, and for each climax revealed, you can salvage a character from your waiting room. So very good card. 2 of these, Lifa and Sinon. First effect, when you use a startup or act ability, you can give one of your characters plus 1k power for the turn, and her other effect is a startup. You can rest her to give one of your characters the effect of when their opponent, when they reverse an opponent's character, your opponent may heal a card, and if they do, or your opponent heals a card, and if they do, you send that character to their clock. So it's essentially clock shoot. It's mostly here for anti on reverse effects that let your opponent search or something like that. Very good card, and the extra 1k power is nice to reverse some things. 2 of the Heathcliff, that is choiced. Very, very strong card, notorious. 1500 power. The first effect, if he is in memory, neither you or your opponent can use encore effects, and that includes the global pay 3 encore for every card. And the other effect is a startup. You can pay 1, send him to memory, look at up to the top 4 cards of your library, and add an anniversary character to your hand. So this card is pretty crazy and game breaking, I think. Potentially screwing over your opponent like mad. Anti-Encore is such a crazy effect, and to have it all game is pretty insane. So 2 of those, you do want to get one of those for those matchups where your opponent does have Encore. One of these Kirito, 1500 power. The turn he's played, you can draw a card, or if you have 2 or more other anniversary characters, then you can draw a card. If you do, discard a card, and his other effect is a Climax swap. Pay 1, discard a Climax from your hand. You can salvage another Climax from your waiting room. So always a great, useful card to have. And this level 0 Sachi is the last level 0. 1500 power. The turn she's played, you can reveal the top card of your library, and if it's an anniversary character, she can side attack with no penalty, which is pretty cool. It's neat. And the other effect is when she attacks, you can give one of your other anniversary characters plus 1500 power. So another nice tech card to help pump things and maybe get a bit of extra soul damage in when you can only side attack. She can side with no penalty. But yeah, that is my level 0 lineup. Very, very strong level 0. Even in today's standards, a ton of these cards are oversized and great utility cards on top of it. So that's why I have a ton. I think there's 20 level 0s here. Pretty cool. Now for level 1, 4 of these 1-0 Kirito, 4500 power. If you have 2 or more other anniversary character, he gets plus 1k, and he also combos with the Arch. Pants. If you have experience 2, then you can do the effect of when he attacks, you mill the top 3 cards of your library, then salvage a character from your waiting room equal to whose level is equal to or lower than the number of anniversary characters milled. Kind of confusing effect, but essentially it comes down to if you milled 3 characters, you can grab a level 3 or lower. Even if you mill no characters, like only climaxes or something like that, you can still get a level 0. So you'll always be able to get something. Pretty good climax combo level 1. It's not insane, but it gets the job done. Helps replenish your hand. Extra milling is nice. You get a little bit of power. Oh, you get 500 power from the combo also. So he's 5/5 base, 6k when you combo, 7k with the climax power. So respectable power. Very, very good level 1 combo. 2 of these Yui, 1-0, 3500 power. When she's played, you need experience 2. But if you do, she gets plus 4k power, making her 7500 the turn she's played. And her other effect is you can rest one of your other standing characters to get a card in your level zone and a card in your waiting room and swap them. So level swap is pretty nice. You do need experience for this deck, so this can help make it a little more consistent. If some situations you have a better option in your level zone. You know, there's some situations where and she gets plus 1 level as well, but who cares? Yeah, she's a good utility card. Helps you reverse a lot of things. 7/5 is nice. So just a good card to have. This 1/1 backup, it's 2k backup, and when you use it, if you have another anniversary character on stage, you can take the top card of your library and put it to your stock. So it pays for itself in stock. You get a blind stock back. It's nice to keep up your resources with this, so that's why I opt to try having one, keeping your board around a little better. It's a nice backup. This one is more of a defensive backup. It's also 2k, 1 cost, but when you use it, you can reveal the top card of your library. If that's an anniversary character, you can add it to hand and then discard a card. Lets you go through your deck 1 card, maybe get you closer to a cancel or ditching climax from your hand. This deck doesn't have too many ways to discard cards, discard out climaxes if you end up having too many. So that's an option there. So not too many level 1s. 10 level 1s. Wait, what? 8 level 1s, sorry. Can't do math. On to level 2, we have this 2-1 Asuna, 6500 power. She is a 2k in front assist to level 3s, and her other effect is if you have experience 3, You can rest her to give one of your anniversary characters 1k power and the effect of during battle, your opponent cannot use events from hand. So this stops those kind of no damage event backups, which is cool. It's nice to have, but not needed in every matchup. And then speaking of no damage event counter, 2/3 green. When you use this backup, you choose a battling character, an opponent's battling character, and that character cannot deal damage to you this turn. So, a little different than other no damage backups. Some of them have the prerequisite of needing a full field. This one doesn't, but because of that, you can only choose the card that you're battling, which is it's nice, I guess, when you don't have a full field. But you know, your opponent can play around this one definitely easier. But yeah, that's there. Only 3 level 2s. On to level 3. We got 4 of these Kirito and Asuna, 9,500 power. With experience 6, they get plus 1,500 power, so there are 11k base with experience 6, which is great. Heals on play, and climax combos with the choice. When this card attacks, you can pay 2, discard a card from hand, mill the top 5 cards of your library. For every climax you hit, you deal 2 damage to your opponent, and they get plus 2,500 power. And that's for each climax. So if you hit 2, you're dealing 2 damage twice, and it gets plus 5k power. Pretty insane combo. Very heavy on resources, paying 2 and discarding a card, and it's not guaranteed. You're milling the top 5 cards, so you might not hit any climaxes. You might only hit 1. If you think about it, like in those ways, like paying 2, discarding for doing almost nothing is kind of rough. But you can hit 3 climaxes, dealing 2, 3 times. It can be kind of insane. But again, it's all a gamble. So this card is your main finisher, but it's not too reliable sometimes. So take that as you will. For these Kirito and Yujio, 3/2, 9k power. If you have 4 or more other anniversary characters on stage, he gets -1 level in your hand, meaning they can come out early at level 2, which is awesome. Super easy condition. With experience 6, they gain plus 500 power, and the effect of when they attack, you can give something 1,500 power, including itself. So 9/5 base, you can give the power to itself, making it 11k on offense, or boost one of your other characters to reverse things. And the last effect is stock heal. When it's played from hand to stage, you can discard a card from your hand. If you do, take the top card of your clock, put it to your stock. So stock heal is great for keeping your resources up. Getting a little bit of healing at the cost of hand is super nice. This card is just phenomenal. I think this is the best level 3 in the set. Super important to start playing this early. And it's not even that resource intensive, so it's super easy to get out as well. So you can just grab another one, play it again the next turn. So even if this gets adachi'd or anti-changed or whatever, it's still like, it's not that bad for you. So this card is super great. 2 of these Asuna, 3/2, 9,500 power. If you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, then she gets -1 level in your hand. She's another early play option, but with a little harder condition to meet. Experience 6, plus 1,500 power, so 11k base. And the last effect is when she's played, you can look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of anniversary characters on the stage, and then add a card to your hand. So if she's played last, you can look at 5 cards of your deck. You can grab anything, which includes climaxes. You can grab the event backup. So this card is super great late game for looking through your deck to grab the last card that you might be needing. I always pretty much use it to get the choice climax for the combo for later turns. If you can get out early, it's nice. It's just a nice level 3 to have. a good utility level 3. And it's oversized on top of that. So great. Last level 3, this Kirito, 9500 power. On play, you can stock swap, pay 1. Your opponent sends their stock to the waiting room and then puts the same amount of cards from the top of their library to their stock. And the last effect is on attack, he gets plus 1k power for each anniversary character you have. So if you have a full field, plus 5k, making it 14-5 on offense. Pretty good card. You don't always need stock swap, but it's if you have access to it, you want to usually include it. Pretty nice effect to have. And yeah, that is my level 3 lineup. 11 level 3s. We do need experience 6, so having a lot of these cards is very important, and they're all relatively good. But lastly, for the lineup, Climax is 4 of the Arch for the level 1 combo and 4 of the Choice for the level 3 combo. Alright, now on to how I play the deck. The deck is a little old, so there are some glaring weaknesses in today's current meta. The strongest part of the deck is definitely the level 0. So I've kind of made the deck in a way that the game plan is to essentially build your advantage from level 0. Like, you still have a super dominant level 0 lineup, so it's pretty easy to start doing that. You can play any of these cards. They're all pretty much 3k base at least, on top of having some utility. So you're not going to have a problem reversing any of your opponent's characters. A lot of these cards will help you set up for late game, as well as preserve your hand a little bit. The beginning is really the foundation of success for this deck. I mean, if I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, because if you fall behind early, you are gonna have a tough time closing out the game, in my opinion. But that doesn't always happen. These cards are really good. Level 0 is super good, so you're not gonna have a problem with that, I think. Your back row is generally gonna look something like this. Having your brainstorm around, no brainer, honestly. You don't have too many back row options in the set, so why not just put that there? And this card, I think it's not super necessary, but I like it because it stops my opponents on reverse effects, which is really how they're going to set up their level 1 game. If I can disrupt that as much as possible, it's like, I think it makes a huge difference. So this is why I keep this card in the lineup still. And the power, the little extra power is nice to help reverse things later on as well. And then lastly, against some decks, it'll be way more important to make sure you get this in memory. Some decks, it won't have any use at all. They won't have any encore. At worst, you get a bit of compression and a bit of milling early. So it's not the worst card to just play and throw out. But in some matchups, this thing will be insane. You can stop encore of, like, let's say standby decks. Their game plan is to generally build advantage with these high value cards that they can just bring out for free. If you're able to reverse them 1 or 2 times and this Heathcliff stops them from encoring it, that hurts a lot, I think. So that's why I run this card, to give some spice to this deck, to have some pretty crazy matchups. But yeah, level 0 is where it all starts, baby. After that, it's pretty simple. You're just trying to keep it up, keep the momentum going. Your level 1s, they can get kind of strong on offense, so you will be able to reverse other decks that rely on level 1 combos. The Yui's here to give you an easier time reversing like level 2 targets and stuff like that. But you're just trying to keep up your hand, mill through your deck, get good refreshes, get good compression. Pretty like standard gameplay, I'd say, for most decks. Level 2, you kind of have access to one of your stronger cards again. This Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh! Such a good card, so easy to come out. Great to get early healing, stock heal keeps up your stock. You need a lot of stock. I would say at least like you need at least 6 to even do one combo for your last turn if you're gonna play 3 level 3s, and then do one combo for the Kirito Asuna. So keeping that in mind, you really don't want to have to use your stock early. Triggering climaxes can be kind of painful because you don't have too many easy ways to pay them out. This is my first go-to. I always try to pay out climaxes with this first. But that, I mean, that's getting into too specific of a situation, I think. But you do have another early play option if you can, and this isn't like too heavy on your stock. I think playing this early to grab your choice climax and just hold on to it to guarantee it once you hit level 3 is a good option. You can always hold on to this and play it at level 3 later. You don't necessarily need another Kirito Asuna or this guy around any longer. So playing Kirito Asuna, playing this, and whatever else you need to guarantee your finish is kind of all you need. But you can play it early, so there's an option. But and you definitely don't need this probably by now. Level 2, you do have a backup or an assist if you need it. 2k in front to level 3s is a lot of power. This becomes a 13k base. This is 13k on offense. Pretty nice to keep your cards a bit stronger and a bit more resilient because your level 1 game is really weak. You're going to start to lose your board every turn pretty much. So at level 3, if you have the option to keep a bit of advantage and make your level 3 stronger and not lose too much hand, then it's definitely worth playing this card. And then another benefit of the card is the anti-event backups. So if you know your opponent has access to those, it's not a good card to have. But you don't always need this. This is a card you don't have to put in the back row. Now we're finally getting to the end game. Level 3 is really where you're going to start to blow it all up or blow everything. You need a ton of stock. So hopefully you haven't had to use your stock too much. You have a good amount saved up. It's almost impossible to even pull 2 of these off, I think. You would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 stock. With 6 stock, you can get by pulling 2 of these off. You won't be able to play another level 3. This will be probably something else that doesn't cost anything. You could play... So you could play 2 of these. That's 4 stock. You attack with 1. That's another 2 stock, but you'll get a stock for this, a stock for this, and then you have 2 more stock for this second one. So you need 6 stock in order to do 2, but that's not taking into account that you might not have your hand set up. You might have like you might not have the climax in hand. You might need to play this asana. You might want to brainstorm to put yourself in a better situation. Maybe you just hit 3. You might not kill your opponent. So there's a lot of situations where you're not really going to be able to pull 2 off, I think, most often. Most of the time, I think you will only be able to play 1, like for sure. And even then, you still need 6 stock to be able to play this level 3 asana. You need stock to potentially stock swap if it's going to help you kill your opponent. So it's a stock hungry deck. A lot of things need to go right for you to have a really explosive end game. And for that reason, I think this deck isn't super competitive now. Even if you get going early on, there's still a good chance for failure. Like you can even like hit nothing with these. Like if you aren't compressed, you're out a bunch of climaxes already, or it's like you're gonna get nothing out of this combo, and you're pretty much like not gonna win. So I'm not a super big fan of the combo, but I think it still is the best thing that 10th anniversary has. But yeah, I'm hoping this can change later. But yeah, that's kind of it on how I play the deck. What's generally going through my mind. It's definitely a bit dated. I think you can still win, obviously. It's still cool. But in the level 0 game. I love having an impressive level 0. It's pretty fun. But yeah, now I will be going over alternatives, but starting with a bit about the ban list. Once upon a time, this deck was crazy OP. All three of these could be run together. It was insanely impressive. I think I wasn't playing at the time, but it sounded cool, pretty cool. But these became choiced. I used to run this Asuna as my choice after trying, different things. Uh, because I like the deck to go the way I've made it. Like, you want a strong early level 0 as oppressive as possible. And I thought that this was the best way to accomplish that. 3/5 center run is such a strong effect, such an easy condition. Very good card. But now this one is unrestricted, so you can run this with one of these cards. I choose a Heathcliff because this effect is really unique and pretty game breaking against certain sets. Anti-Encore is pretty cool. That's why I run it. I think this makes it the most viable. However, Spriggan Kirito is a really good card. I think this is the first of its kind. I'm not too sure, honestly, but 500 power. It's a global 500 to all your anniversary characters. And the other effect, when you trigger an Arch Climax, you can discard a Climax from your hand to salvage a character, an anniversary character. This card is super good for multiple reasons. It makes your level 0 game even more oppressive. It makes this 4K base. It makes all your other 3K bases 3/5. That's pretty insane. Like, it's already pretty good. Like, it's already good having 3K bases pretty much across the board. But 3/5 bases, it's like, dang. Your opponent is going to have such a frustrating time dealing with that. But I don't. And the other effect, it helps hand filter. You don't have too many ways to discard cards, so this helps you discard any extra climaxes that you trigger. But I mean, I don't think it's completely necessary, to be honest. The level 0 game is strong even without him. But I'll give it a try. I think it is another option. It makes the build more consistent and the game plan a little stronger. So if you don't think this is too valuable, if you're not playing against sets that make use of the anti-encore, this is definitely really good to run with these two. But yeah, there's that. If you do run the Spriggan Kirito, you generally run 6 pants with it. 2 of the pants won't have combos, but I think that's fine. But I find that lineup also makes it a little difficult to get your choice combo off. I've had a hard time going down to just 2 climaxes. Maybe I just need to get good, but I prefer to have 4 choice triggers. So there's ups and downs to everything. You can kind of do what you want. I think the deck will still do about just the same. So yeah, cool. Some other options, notable options, I think that might be useful later as well. This card, I'm definitely going to try right now. Ligma, I'm recording. Bitch. Just by myself. You felt awkward, huh? Fucking nerd. He saw you calling yesterday or the other day when we were recording. Nothing. I just hung up. Bitch. It's recording right now. Like, I'm talking and it... Huh? I don't know. Probably another 10 minutes. Go with you to get food. Yeah. Bitch. You're so annoying. Alright, let me finish recording. Bye. He's so gay, guys. Like, for realsies. All right. Now on to some other alternatives I think are worth noting. SAO 10th anniversary has a lot of cards, like it has access to a lot of things like anti-change, backup, level 3 anti-encore, level 3 double attack combo. I think there's a lot you can do with the set if you really get into it. The build that I have revolving around pants and choice, I think, is pretty solid. There's not too much you switch around with this build. You just kind of play with the ratios, get the level 0 lineup you like, get the climax combo ratio you like with Spriggan or not. But these are a few other cards that I think are worth mentioning. It can change the game quite a bit. Starting with this level 0, 2K, Kirito, when he's sent from stage to waiting room, you can pay 1, clock yourself to look at the top 2 cards of your library and grab up to 2 anniversary characters. This is a standard effect now, but there are a lot of cards that are better with this effect. This is just a raw that effect. It is pretty cool to be able to potentially +2, which is crazy. Like +2 for 1 and 1 damage. It is not guaranteed. You'll most likely get 1, I think, unless you get super unlucky. But this effect is great for keeping your hand up. Past level 1, the deck definitely is going to get wiped every turn. So, I mean, yeah, starting level 1, you'll start to get board wiped, which really is hard on your hand. This deck cannot keep up with a lot of other sets. So including this card to your lineup could help fix that. Keep your hand a little better, keep your resources up to make sure you don't lose steam throughout the game. But adding this in does, I think, weaken your level 0. You won't have as many strong options, but you could just take out the clock shooter. You could take out something to fit it. Like, I do prefer to get advantage with having stronger level 0s rather than playing plus level 0s, but this is an option, and I think I'm definitely going to try it out. See if I can get some use out of it. Other than that, I do have this Yu-Gi-Oh! I think an important part of your level 1 is making sure you can reverse those high power standby targets that are like 10K. That's why I have that level 0 Sachi, but this Yu-Gi-Oh! Also fits that situation. With experience 2, on attack, he can give one of your anniversary characters plus 2k power, which is good. It's 500 more power than the Sachi. He's 4500 base, meaning he might be able to reverse something else that the Sachi couldn't. So you might not even need 2-side attack with the Sachi, but this is an option if you want that. Actually, I think it's better than the Sachi. The Sachi's kind of annoying to use properly. And these last 2 cards, I would probably consider running if you're not running the Heathcliff, you're running the Spriggan. This first one, 2-1 Xenon, 7k power. With experience 5, it gets plus 500 power and hand encore, which is why you don't run it with the Heathcliff, because you can't use that otherwise. And the other effect is when it battles level 3 or higher, it gets plus 6k power, making it 13-5 on offense. And it has hand encore on defense. So pretty nice card. Help clear your opponent's board for just 1 cost. It's light. It helps you remove some, like in some decks that revolve around multiple early drops or have strong level. No, well, it doesn't beat level 2s, but good against early drops. The hand encore helps you keep around a good target, a good attacker. It's a good card, but definitely you can't run it with the Heathcliff. So, but there is an option. I definitely consider this in the Spriggan builds. And then 3k backup or send a memory when opponent gets reversed. Anti-encore effect. A lot of early plays, a lot of really strong early plays will have encore. So it's good in those situations. And yeah, I mean, it just helps you in against decks that also need to reverse your cards to get their effect off. Your level threes are pretty strong, so having this to play in that last turn and your opponent can't reverse them, deny them their reverse game finish is pretty cool. All right, guys, here is one final look at the deck, the full list. I think this deck is a lot of fun. Like I said before, it is a little old, but that still doesn't mean you can't have fun, you can't win games with it. So, super cool. I'm looking forward to in a couple months when the Sword Art Online 10th anniversary anime booster comes out. I mean, I think it's pretty likely that the cards will have anniversary trait on them, so it should work with these cards because this set, all the cards only work with the anniversary trait, which is why you can't really mix these cards with other Sword Art Online boosters. It doesn't really work. So yeah, I'm really hoping that that will make a new build and it'll be pretty exciting. So, but that's it for this, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and as usual, hope you like, subscribe, stay tuned for more videos. Peace.